Thank you. This presentation will highlight the emotional, mental, and cognitive harm caused by child abuse. The topic of discussion: the long-term consequences of child abuse and neglect. I'm Clifton A. Castile, educator, researcher, and author. The metaphor, spare the rod and spoil the child, is common among many people. If a child does not comply with all directives established by a parent, it is considered appropriate for the parent to administer corporal punishment as a form of discipline, instead of being patient, understanding, and provide an explanation. During my presentations addressing the risks associated with child abuse, I frequently hear the following counter-arguments. I'll give you just three. I was disciplined by whipping and I turned out okay. This one. Excuse me, I know two people whose mothers frequently whip them and they are very successful. One is a school teacher, the other a doctor. And this one. I saw a couple on television who stated they had never physically abused their child, and they are confused that their teenager committed armed robbery and shot two people. Now, can we confidently say there is no link between child abuse and later success in life? Well, take this typical case. A pharmaceutical company contests the AMA's claim that its pain medication caused heart attacks and strokes. The company might argue that patients' injuries were due to lifestyle choices, other pre-existing conditions, or other medications, rather than a flaw in their product. What is childhood abuse? Child abuse refers to causing harm to a child, which occurs when a child experiences abuses such as slapping, pushing, spanking, hitting the wrist, punching, kicking, shaking, not permitting a child to eat a meal as a punishment. Child psychologists say the first 3 years are vital for developing self-esteem and shaping early views on life. Abuse is often carried out by a caregiver, but it may also be perpetrated by individuals such as classmates or others in the environment. Now, abuse overactivates the brain's threat detection, and this results in ongoing fear, anxiety, and low self-esteem. And because of abuse, children as young as toddlers may exhibit aggressive behaviors such as hitting, biting, spitting toward other children. Reports from the CDC and the Kaiser Foundation indicate that child abuse may be a factor in adverse childhood experiences, known as ACE. Adverse childhood experiences may lead to poor adult health, increased smoking, hypertension, diabetes, higher risk of arthritis, having mental health issues, and a shorter lifespan. Now, these negative effects occur as the immune system and adrenal glands release cortisol. Now, cortisol is a hormone that helps the body respond to danger with the fight or flight mechanism. Now imagine if this happens over and over. An individual will become aggressive, which can lead to hatred or violence. When a child is abused, the pleasure and reward center is suppressed. Now, suppose a caregiver becomes aware that their actions may negatively affect the child and chooses to stop engaging in physical discipline. Psychologists explain that abruptly stopping child abuse can sometimes lead to a temporary worsening of the situation. The child will experience confusion, anxiety, and even increased aggression due to sudden change in parental behavior. Emotional or psychological abuse involves repeated negative verbal actions such as insults, criticism, harsh demands, threats, yelling, and neglect. I'm going to give you an example of emotional child abuse. You're stupid and you cannot do anything right. Sometimes I wish you were not my child. Studies indicate that children who frequently hear negative statements may be the most damaging form of maltreatment, causing adverse developmental consequences equivalent to or more severe than those of other forms of abuse. Now, if trauma is present in a child's environment, i.e. verbal and physical disputes at home, or disturbances in the environment can result in emotional harm which may have enduring impacts into adulthood. A group of researchers conducted a study indicating that at 18 months it is possible to predict with 77% accuracy which children may later leave school and participate in unlawful activities based on observed interactions between mother and child. Now, in a retail store, a curious 4-year-old removes a toy for examination. And they should. The mother requests a toy. What do you think happens? Do you think the child will say, you know what, I don't want that effing toy, and throw it to the floor? Well, the child does not hand the toy to her. The mother grabs the toy and threatens her child. You just wait until we are at home, I will give you a whipping. Now, most children will scream and cry hearing that statement. However, the child smiles and looks at their hand to escape reality and never cries. It's likely the child has learned to hide their emotions from excessive abuse. Now, could the mother have softly stated, now, we cannot buy the toy you want because we need money for food and clothes. Now, maybe we can get the toy for you later. Now, let's put the toy back in the correct place, please. Thank you. I am proud of you, and Mother loves you. A facial expression can be an effective nonverbal cue or a prevention from physical exercises in disciplining a child. At 2 months, a baby is able to distinguish between a smile and a frown and prefers smiles. You know, the mother will smile. Sooner or later, the baby starts smiling. Now, is praise important? As it turns out, praise is very important for young children's development, helping to build self-esteem and confidence, while fostering motivation and reinforcing positive behaviors, positive relationship between parent and child. Now, let's say this. A child interrupts her, and the child may say, Mama, see, I colored the puppy. And the mother may say, oh, goodness, can't you see I'm on the phone? Every time I'm on the phone, you come and bother me. Or the mother could say this instead. You know, I will call you back later as my child requires my attention. And the mother may say, let Mother look. Oh, that's pretty, but what color is the puppy? Of course, it's reasonable to believe the 3-year-old colored outside the lines. Nonetheless, the mother will praise her child. A child might intervene to gain attention or rewards, as praise can create positive feelings and serves as reinforcement. A mother may demonstrate the value of praise and appreciation with this. Honey, please come here. See what Mother did. Now, if you like it, could I get a juicy kiss? Oh, thank you. Now, this simple procedure will increase bonding and respect for appreciation. Praise is a form of oral reward which can be more acceptable than a tangible reward. Now, about being recognized and appreciated, children in middle-income families typically receive 10 instances of praise for every 3 reprimands. 10 to 3. I'm extra proud of you for eating all your vegetables, and mother did not have to remind you of praise. Conversely, a child living in a low-income household typically hears 3 praises for every 8 reprimands. 3 to 8. You keep coloring outside the lines. When will you learn to stay within them, as I showed you? Of course, that's a reprimand. Now, let me say this. There is no evidence that low-income families love their children less. Constant criticism erodes a child's self-esteem and fear of experimenting as a means of learning and demonstrating lifelong intelligence. You see, children learn by playing. They learn to make a mess, and it helps them to gain intelligence. Praising a child builds confidence, which is essential for their well-being, resilience, academic success, and independence. Now, here's a case of not hearing praise and developing confidence. A mother chose to paint a room herself in order to reduce expenses, and she will visit YouTube for instructions. Later, "Is that paint I smell?" her significant other asked. "Yes, honey. I painted the baby's room myself, as you have been coming home tired, and we currently do not have the budget to hire someone for the task." Now, will her significant other praise her, compliment her, condemn her, reprimand her? Well, he replies, "It's okay, but you have paint on the carpet. Now we have to buy a new carpet, which we cannot afford. I told you sooner or later I would do it." Now, the woman tried to conceal her splatters. And shouldn't her significant other not mention the paint splatters and praise her? Maybe with this, "I like it. Oh, especially the color. I am extra proud of you." If so, the woman will not be hesitant to try new challenges which stimulate increased intellectual growth. However, now, it is possible that her significant other has feelings for her, but may not fully recognize the importance of expressing praise and acceptance. However, the mother is unlikely to ever paint anything. Her courage and confidence are abated from someone who is important to her. Now, how destructive is neglect? Nathan Fox, a researcher, visited a Romanian orphanage and was struck by the silence and how quiet the infant room, and suggested the infants were quiet because they had learned that cries would not be answered. The babies lay in cribs all day, except when being fed, diapered, or bathed on a set schedule. They weren't rocked, they weren't sung to, and many stared at their own hands, trying to derive whatever stimulation they could from the world around them. Now, years later, studies found that these orphanages had low self-esteem, reduced cognitive ability, and weaker social and learning skills. Now, here's a case of a mother who is degraded and not valued at work. While at home, her child is happy to see mother and seeks mother's attention to play, to have fun. Well, the mother asked the child to play with a toy so she could have solitude. Well, her energetic child insists that mother will come and play. The mother screams and threatens her child with physical discipline if her demand isn't obeyed. Now, this mother is unaware that repeated neglect can cause a lack of self-assurance lasting through adulthood. Now, is there a subtle role which the media play in neglect on Black children's self-worth? A study completed at Michigan State University underscores that commercials are more believable for Black children than white children. Less than 1% of commercials or news presentations feature Black children. Child psychologists say when Black children see themselves seldom represented in commercials, in news and entertainment programs, can have a detrimental effect on Black children's cognitive ability, mental health, increasing symptoms of anxiety and depression, lower self-esteem, and diminished confidence, which can linger throughout adulthood. Now, caregivers can support a child's confidence by refraining from negative feedback and providing encouragement. And I'll say this anecdotal. I suggest a caregiver use the term, "I am correcting you," not "I am punishing you." Now, if you are a caregiver, after hearing this presentation, and you recognize that you are engaging in abusive behaviors towards your child, well, it is essential that you seek professional support immediately. If this narrative was informative, please subscribe to the channel to be notified of future presentations and share your feedback in the comments section. Thank you.